Oh God, don't leave me alone.
We've been sat here for a month and you're going to listen to me.
Dudley, give him a break. He's not going anywhere.
No, you know what? You're right. But we'll save it for another time.
Yeah, and I was just getting into it. I just got the popcorn, for goodness sake.
Anyway, enough about that. What is up, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of the Fresh Air Show.
Yay!
Whew, a lot of things have been happening this September. Some good, some bad, some just plain out neutral. So, once again, we are joined by Emerald Soldier, aka Michael.
Hello there.
Hello again.
Yes. So, how have you guys been since the last podcast?
Alright. Tired.
Just standard, really.
Same.
Well, it was my birthday in September. Lockdown edition.
Yay.
Hey, happy birthday.
Yep.
So, what was it like experiencing a birthday during lockdown? For me, I thought it was pretty good. Sure, not that many people turned up. I know Rowan was there, so thanks for coming.
Yes, I was. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was right at just in time as well, because by the following Monday, that sort of gathering would have been illegal. So, but yeah, still got quite a few things. I even got a new Jaws harp or Jew's harp here. So,
Cool.
and just to prove it, here it is in audio.
That's cool.
So yeah,
I like that.
might be useful in new sound effect design. So.
I have to ask you a very serious question, though, Daniel.
Oh.
Why was I not invited to the Animal Crossing party?
Well, the thing is, it's part of the Powder Pelago, and nobody should know where it is. So, just.
But I'm clearly someone who's been there, as I'm in your videos.
I'm sure Orville and Wilbur probably blindfolded you. I hope they did on the way there. So. So yeah. So yeah. Anything interesting happen since last time?
College has started back up for me.
Ah, yes.
How has that been in this scenario at the moment?
Not too terrible. I'm only in 1 day a week now, full time. The other days it's mostly Zoom sessions and study groups. Well, not groups. What am I saying? Self-study rather.
Yep.
I only started it back up last week, and it's been alright. It's sort of staggered now. One half the class goes in 1 day, and the other half comes in another. So the class is a lot smaller, which means separating the desks out has been way easier. It's been quieter as well, and I think it's good. Quite nice.
Yeah.
Because, when you have a bunch of young adults together, it's all rabble. But now that the classes are smaller, it's far more manageable, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit more, actually.
Yeah. There's
days also start... Oh, sorry.
There's definitely something about the homeschooling, because I myself have actually begun my college course, and so far it's been entirely through team calls, and yeah, like you said, it's a lot quieter, but then again, that kind of helps when the lecturer mutes everyone in the class until you're ready to talk. So
yeah.
I just before we started the podcast, while I was attacking Michael, I just finished a video chat with my cousin, who's back in college at London at the moment, and he was saying how they have to clean their chairs before or something. disinfect the chairs and everything. Just have you had to do much of that, Rowan? Just like.
There have been some Zoom calls. On Friday, I had to skip out because I was visiting family. So
Yeah.
Hopefully, my classmates were willing to cover for me.
Yeah.
Set up a little mannequin with my face on it.
Yeah. So, Michael, that been the same for you?
Yeah, I'm back at college as well, my second year, and it's pretty the same. Since I'm studying for creative media, and we have computers, we have to wipe the keyboard and the mouse, and always, wear a mask in the hallways and stuff. Even though in the class it's a full class, and we sit next to more people.
Right.
So.
Well, that reminds me. I remember seeing a headline at one point. It was an early headline about the possible ways people studying at colleges and schools last year could have gotten their grades. And it was just an idea, but it was all based on how your teachers appreciated you, like how well you behaved.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that. I loved that idea. Like, if you're going to be in here and cause trouble, I'll just mark you based on your behavior. Let's see. You are disrespectful to me and my family and my line of work. Triple F minus.
Yeah. I am so envious of my brother because he just left secondary school and had that done for him. And if I'd had that done for me when I was in secondary school, I'd be sitting on probably slightly better grades than I actually got in my GCSEs. So I'm just saying, like, you son of a person.
I think they should be doing that, though. Like, alongside judging you based on your mental capacity and physical capacity, you should also be judged on how you behave as a person and whether you're suitable for public working, etc. Like, oh, you're definitely a nice person. You'll definitely work well in a children's hospital,
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about that quite a bit this week. And I'll tell you a story. But, like, once we had a substitute teacher for maths, and everybody else in the class was mucking around in class.
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of the lesson, the actual proper end of the lesson, all of them had been sent to another class. The whole other class besides me had been sent to a different class for mucking around.
Jeez.
And I was sat there by myself without anyone else in the classroom, including the lecturer, the teacher. And then someone put their nose to the door and laughed because I was the only person left in the room. I was like, did I get anything good for doing that? I don't think so.
Bravo.
Should have had an A for maths. A for maths.
Nice. Yeah. Thanks to online schooling now, physical damage has now been reduced dramatically. Because I remember there was one student in my year who one lesson went entirely stupid. And so, for the sake of privacy, I'm going to be renaming him to Peter. Now, Peter was one of those kids who was constantly changing sides. Like, one day he would be, like, supportive of you and checking in on you, like, hey there, you doing alright? It's good to hear. And then another day he would be the sort of teasing type. Like, yeah, look at that. And so, one instant I remember with him, which really baffled me with how stupid he was was during my high school woodworking class. Now, in our woodworking class, we were tasked with building a fish slice, or for you Americans, a spatula. So it had three components. You had the metal head of it, you had the metal handle, and the wooden hand grip. And so we had to drill holes in the metal head of it and smoothen out the edges. And with the handle, you had to bend it into shape so that it wasn't going to be burnt on the frying pan when you officially used it. And so I was a tad behind in my woodworking class, and he came up to me one afternoon and was like, "Oh, hey, I noticed you're a bit behind. Do you need some help?" And I was like, yeah, sure, I'd really appreciate it. And so he grabs my semi-complete spatula head and he pops it into his vise and at his desk, because we all had one. And at first I was like, "Oh, are you gonna smooth it out like the rest of the students?" But no, he gets out, because everyone has their own set of tools at their desk. He pulls out a wooden mallet and he starts banging it and bending it. And
Oh.
and I was like, I wanted to try and stop him and say, "Oh, I'm not sure we should be doing that," but my mouth was just stuttering. Instead, what came out was, "Ooh, and so he continues hammering on it until it's bent 90 degrees. And the teacher came up to us a tad too late, and he sees the result of his work, and he was like, "Peter, outside." And Peter was like, but I was trying to help. This is what you're meant to be. And he was just like, and he was just dragged out the class trying to defend his stupidity. And I was just left with the head of my spatula just bent 90 degrees. And I was like, well, poop. So I want to believe that he was genuinely stupid that day and didn't know what he was doing. I didn't think he was actually trying to sabotage my work. So
as you're telling the story, all I could think of was Yzma saying, "I'll smash it with a hammer!"
Yeah, if only. But yeah, that happened, and my God, Peter was stupid that day.
Yep, stays.
Yeah.
Like different personalities.
You're listening to The Fresh Air Show. A lot of things have happened this month. One really big story that happened between the last podcast and now is that I now officially have an entitled Karen story. Yep. So, for those of you who are unaware of what an entitled Karen is, there's actually a male equivalent as well, Kyle's. But a Karen is basically how we describe an entitled woman who believes she can win any argument just because she said, "Because I said so."
Oh, yeah.
The sort of women who say, "I want to talk to your manager, sir."
Yeah. I see like a whole YouTube compilations of those, and it's really funny.
Well, let's see if this story qualifies. And one day I hope this might end up on one of those compilation lists, and it's called "Entitled Karen Sums Up Her Dog's Behavior in a Nutshell." So, I typed this up as soon as I did. So, if it sounds professional or unprofessional, then I apologize. But here we go. One morning, I was heading out to walk my 10-year-old dog, Oscar. He's so well behaved that I trust him enough to be off lead in some places. I always like to imagine you can tell a lot about a person by how their dog behaves. So, yeah, if your dog barks at other people, he's probably just confused as his owners. And if a dog's well behaved, then that sums up what I'm like. And so, we were approaching an intersection, and this intersection had traffic lights, and basically it was part of my favorite route because I use it for Pokemon Go. On average, I spin a total of 6 stops and interact with a gym using this route. So, yeah, that's why I like it. It may not seem like a lot for all you hardcore players, but it meant a lot for me. So, me and my unleashed dog were slowly approaching the traffic lights from a distance when I first spot her.
Oh no.
She was walking with 2 dogs of unknown breed to me. Anyway, they crossed the road and didn't see us behind them about 10 meters away, so I didn't think much of it. After about 2 minutes, I turn a corner where a teenager was about to pass me, and he warned me that this woman was about to round the corner I was approaching, and so I gently held my dog's collar and led him cautiously. Through the fence, about 3 meters away, I could see her around the corner. She immediately gets nervous and says, "Excuse me, do you think you can lead your dog somewhere else? Because mine are gonna go crazy." I agreed, as we just had to walk past them. I show my dog where to go and he walks off without showing any interest in them. As soon as her 2 dogs see him, they immediately began barking like crazy. So my dog simply glanced at them again and again as we passed, but there were no further incidents. So, what are your thoughts on her so far?
She seems decent enough.
I think he's about to snap for some reason about it.
And that's always a reason.
Yep. Anyway, I did my usual Pokemon Go route, and like usual, it was time for us to head home. On the way back, I hear muffled barking.
Oh no.
I look up at the nearby apartment complexes, and I see in one window, it was one of Karen's dogs. He was once again barking, having spotted my dog, but we just walked by, seeing as how he was contained. So, on the way back to the intersection, unbelievably, there she was again.
Oh.
This time, she had a completely different dog, who I would describe as a black and white pit bull.
Oh.
Now,
Okay.
I've got nothing against pit bulls. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Cool.
So this time she had a completely different dog. This new dog was peeking in people's gardens and being quite jumpy. So, like jumping into people's gardens, jumping back out. So I assume this woman was like a dog walker. Once again, I held my dog by the collar until I knew it was safe for us, for them to interact. Bear in mind, I did have my dog's lead in my pocket. I normally only use it if roads get too dangerous. Karen and the new dog approached mine, while we kept our distance as well. Now, at 10 years old, my Oscar, being a small dog, he doesn't like it when puppies or larger dogs try to act more dominant around him. Basically, he's just becoming a bit grumpy.
Yeah.
So, now he doesn't like it when... Now, that doesn't mean he hates all dogs. He can be really friendly, while a few times he just gets a little grumpy, like, "Don't jump on me. I've done all that." Anyway, oftentimes, if this is the case, he lets out a little growl to show that he's not interested. And that's all the aggression you'll ever get out of Oscar. No bites or clawing, just nothing. So, naturally, when this tall dog gets too jumpy and pounces on him, Oscar stood his ground and growled at him. Both Karen and the new dog cower and back themselves into a wall. Now, I honestly couldn't tell who was more surprised. Seeing as how this interaction didn't work well, I walk around them due to Karen officially getting out of the way, and with Oscar silently and calmly standing his ground, Karen then yells at me, shouting, "Keep your dog under control!" I tried to explain why he doesn't like it when dogs jump on him, but not even 3 words into my explanation, she shouts at us again, saying to keep my dog away from them. Having realised that she was a Karen, I simply click my fingers and Oscar walks away from them with no further instance. You see, just like that. So, as I walk away, I glance back to try and apologise, but she just continues to throw phrases at me like, "If your dog is that dangerous, then put him on a lead." Basically, I didn't want any further part in this encounter. For one, she had the nerve to say that my well-behaved dog was threatening her, when it was her dogs that need more training. And 2, due to the whole coronavirus pandemic, I didn't want to be potentially infected by her rapid-fire breath.
No.
Fair enough.
So me and the dog just walked away without another word, while Karen still had plenty more to say. So I was just like, yeah, in my mind I was just going, yeah, talk to the left hand, cause you ain't right. So yeah, that basically sums it up.
When was this? Was this like within the last week or a while ago? Or?
I think it was around the 29th or something. So
quite a while ago then.
So yeah, the story hasn't actually stressed me out or anything. If anything, I'm happy that I have a story to tell, which is what we're doing now. So, yeah, have you had any entitled Karen stories? Anyone?
Nothing, no.
I know of that type of person for sure. I've witnessed many things that have happened like that, and I'm sure there have been a few that happened to me, but none is springing to mind. But have you ever had it where, let's say an example, right? Let's say there's a man talking to a woman, and the man says, let's say for instance he painted the woman's fence brown instead of black, and then the woman goes, "Why did you paint my fence brown?" And the guy goes to reply, but then the person goes, "No, why did you paint my fence brown?" You know, and every time you go to utter something, they just keep answering for you before you get a chance to defend yourself, and it really irritates me.
Yeah.
And like if you're being lectured by someone, give me a good answer. No, give me a good answer. Just keeps going. Like, shut up and let me tell you. Shut up and let me tell you. It just winds me up.
Agreed.
So, Ryan, anything like that?
No, I've been lucky so far. I don't work retail much, and the places I do work are sort of older based that aren't that needy, so I've managed to avoid the worst of such people.
Well, they'll likely happen to you at some point in your life. As soon
Yes,
as
I will cherish life as without.
yeah.
Let life go past.
So yeah. Thanks for the story, Karen. Now go back to training your dogs.
You are listening to the Fresh Air Show.
Well, it's that time again for the month's most ridiculous headlines.
Yeah.
Sadly, please calm down with the fireworks. We can't have those indoors again. Do you remember last time?
Oh
I'm
God,
sorry.
yeah.
Thanks, Matthew.
All right. In this month's news, a Wisconsin man was shocked to discover a brain had washed up on a beach.
Now, before anything else, was it a human brain?
Well, I'm going by the headlines knowledge, and I'm going to assume that it may or may not have been a human brain.
What does that mean?
Depending on the answer, it has different connotations.
So, apparently, he just found a brain of some unknown creature washed up on a beach.
Mhm.
Who knows? Maybe it might have been some undiscovered coral, and he just assumed it was a brain.
I thought of a Portuguese man of war, like a jellyfish. It's like, it's a brain! No.
Ugh. Geez, the man of war. That's one of the more scarier jellyfish out there. It's even got its own pirate ship sail.
Oh.
So, yeah. You'll know them when you see them, so just be careful.
Oh, okay.
Alright, here's the next headline. 1 million cannibal ants trapped in a Soviet nuclear weapons bunker have escaped.
Oh.
Oh no.
Sounds like the best plot for a movie if I've ever heard one.
I mean, yeah, that's right.
Sheesh, that could be setting up a new Ant-Man movie.
Oh no. In real life.
Now, as a member of a Facebook group where everyone pretends to be ants in an ant colony, I find this very alarming.
I have several questions.
Same.
So,
First of all, how do I join?
they're literally called a group where we all pretend to be ants in an ant colony, and whatever post is there, everyone talks in all caps: bite, lift, help, something. Yeah, it's quite a fascinating experience. So,
You don't say.
so if you want to be part of an exclusive club, that's there for you. You've been into space. Ha! I've been part of an ant colony. So yes, cannibal nuclear ants.
Oh.
Ugh. Jeez.
And they got released from a facility, did you say?
Yeah,
Again, just to recap.
a Soviet weapons bunker.
Ants are taking over.
No, not the ants!
And I thought the bees were a problem.
Oh.
Not the bees.
Exactly.
Right. Here's the next headline. A Welsh pub has been warned after a DJ played the Peppa Pig theme song when police officers walked in.
So what you're telling me? No, seriously, what you're telling me is the police turned up, and to get rid of them, you played the Peppa Pig theme, and it worked so well that it angered the police, and almost stopped.
Well,
I think it was
Well,
mockery.
Was it one of these robot police? It didn't like the music,
Yeah.
now, if 2020 has taught me anything, the number one thing you don't want to do in 2020 is annoy a police officer.
Wow.
So, geesh.
Or any time for that matter.
Yeah.
Fair
So,
point.
good grief. Police officers walk in and a DJ plays the Peppa Pig theme song. Ugh. Yeah. So, makes me wonder, what else would that DJ have played to ward off other people?
Baby shark.
Oh, no. Can I go? Can I go now?
Ugh.
Can I go?
The Bobby Knox. Oh my God,
Can I
what you
go?
did?
Can I go now? Can I go?
Nope, you're sticking with us till the end, Michael.
I have to put up. So do you.
Alright.
Put the Bobby Knox back into my head.
Speaking of pigs, we have another pig headline here. Feral pigs eat and destroy $22,000 worth of cocaine hidden in an Italian forest.
What?
So, if you thought wild pigs eating your crops and destroying your land is bad enough, now they're jacked up on cocaine.
Oh, no.
I'm Peppa Pig! Ah!
Guys,
Over here.
how much is that bacon gonna sell for?
Jesus.
Oh, no.
Ugh.
Here's a fun fact.
Well,
Huh?
we've
Pigs
officially
are omnivore.
We've officially become a crime syndicate now if we're giving crime lords advice on cocaine-laced bacon.
I mean, I don't eat meat, so I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
That-
Pigs are weird.
That I did not know.
That makes you the perfect person to sell it.
That's true.
Yeah.
What about you? What was that fun fact, Rowan? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Pigs are intense omnivores. They'll even cannibalize each other.
Mm.
Oh yes.
Now, a back cocained up pig.
Mm.
It will leave you with that.
Jeez. You know, that
Here's
is...
hoping that they cannot stampede any villages anytime soon.
Mm. You know, that is a scary thought, that if these pigs develop an addiction to a certain drug and somebody eats it, is it still laced with said drug? Quite frankly,
Something died down with the pig, right?
for a select few scientists out there, I suggest you find an answer to that, but I don't want to.
No.
Just something for you
What
to...
we know about mercury accumulation is true. I'm going to say possibly yes.
Mm.
So, some very unlucky alien is going to crash land on Earth one day. He's going to turn one corner and find a bunch of druggy pigs coming towards him. So he's going to run off and then run into these nuclear cannibal ants. And then he's going to go in the other direction. He's going to find an 11-headed dragon. He's just not going to have a very lucky day.
Welcome to planet Earth. Alright, and the last headline that I have is this. British Art Attack host Neil Buchanan responds to the conspiracy theory claiming that he is Banksy. Yeah, Banksy, you know that guy? The anonymous street artist who nobody knows who he looks like?
Oh.
So apparently, Neil Buchanan off of Art Attack was potentially the person behind it, and he's apparently said no.
Huh.
Now,
That sounds like something Banksy would say.
now, I can understand that because Neil Buchanan, I used to love Art Attack growing up, so...
Oh, yeah. I love that too.
But surprisingly, Neil Buchanan's more of a rock star in real life than an artist. So, yeah, he's actually part of a rock band, I think. So, I don't know how he got the job at Art Attack, but I don't regret anything.
No.
So,
Hey, on the topic of like art shows, do you remember? This just sort of popped into my head on the mention of Art Attack. Does anyone remember Martinis?
yes, it's Martinis.
Doesn't ring a bell.
On CBeebies, it's Martinis.
No, I don't think I've ever watched that.
It was partly based off of the already existing show Smart.
Yeah.
So
It was like
Look into that one.
So, yeah. As much as I had loved Art Attack growing up, the head was pretty terrifying. Yeah, you know those segments where it's like that sentient head bust in a museum, and he would just go over what Neil's made, and
Oh, I think I remember that.
I still don't.
it's just...
I don't think I ever watched it.
I think the idea behind him was, if you attempted to recreate anything that Neil made, there will always be someone who'll get it worse than you. So, yeah, he was pretty unnerving and downright pathetic, I should say, because it's like, good grief, can we go back to the live action stuff, please? At least in the current Disney version of Art Attack, they replaced him altogether with a sentient palm tree, so good on you.
I don't
That's
think
it.
I ever watched it.
They never put the Haunted Mansion singing statues there instead of him or something.
Oh, God. I wouldn't be surprised if he was now in the Haunted Mansion. Ugh.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, we're almost done for this podcast. Anything we want to bring up before we go?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, before we go, I have to bring this up because we talked about it many a podcast ago. But Animaniacs reboot! Yes!
Yay!
At last!
Unbelievable. We talked about it in the last podcast, and here it is. A trailer for a brand new series.
I knew I'd heard a rumour of it.
So yeah, who'll be getting a subscription to Hulu? Who knows? So yeah,
The
thanks.
brothers do mess this up.
So yeah, thanks for joining us again, Michael. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, that's it for this month, guys. We'll see you in time for the Halloween special. So, time to say goodbye, guys.
Bye!
Bye.
Bye! Bobby knocks down the
Bye.